Hello everyone and welcome back to me, Shiva Wilson, and my channel, which as you know there's a hair over here and I need to get rid of that. Well, that could be a spider's web. It's all about legalizing recreational cannabis in the UK. Now today I've got a bit more hardcore information for you. This is to do with cannabis advertising in Canada and California. I just wanted to compare the two. Um, about what are the rules around advertising in Canada and California, just to show you the kind of regulatory framework that we could have in the UK if and or when they decide to legalize it in the UK. So here we go, talking about advertising. I do apologize for all the bending over and clicking and stuff, but obviously I'm reading this off a screen, so yeah, I shall try and make my face a bit more in the screen, bending over like a hunched old man. Anyway, so here's a breakdown of cannabis advertising rules in Canada and California. Canada, federal regulations. No direct to consumer advertising. This is federal regulations from the federal government in Canada. So no direct to consumer advertising. Canada prohibits direct advertising of cannabis products to the general public. This includes TV, radio, print media, and billboards. I wonder if it means social media as well. Oh, there's a bit down there about it. We'll get there in a minute. Limited branding. Product packaging can include brand names and logos, but any marketing messages are heavily restricted. Targeted advertising. Advertising is allowed in specific limited venues like point of sale within cannabis retail stores. Advertising is permitted. Trade publications. Advertising is allowed in publications specifically targeting the cannabis industry. Digital advertising. Online advertising is allowed, but there are strict regulations. Age verification. Websites and platforms must have age verification measures in place. No targeting to minors. Advertising cannot target minors or use imagery that appeals to them. So they've got no flashy packaging and stuff like you may have seen in some of the videos that Drew is sharing does. If you haven't found him yet online, he does a lot of reviews of cannabis products, and a lot of them have some flashy, bizarre, catchy packaging that could be said is marketing to minors. Anyway, health warnings. Advertising must include health warnings about the risks associated with cannabis use. Then you've got provincial or territorial regulations. Each province and territory has its own set of regulations regarding cannabis advertising, which may be stricter than the federal rules. So there you go. Now we've got California as well. So this is very similar in a way. California state regulations. No direct to consumer advertising. California also prohibits direct advertising of cannabis products to the general public. Limited branding. Similar to Canada, product packaging can include brand names and logos, but marketing messages are restricted. Point of sale advertising. Advertising is allowed within cannabis retail stores, but there are specific requirements for signage and content. I don't know what those are, but there are specific requirements for signage and content. Digital advertising. Online advertising is allowed, but subject to certain restrictions. Age verification. Websites and platforms must have age verification in place. No targeting to minors. Advertising cannot target minors or use imagery that appeals to them. Health warnings. Advertising must include health warnings about the risks associated with cannabis use. So they're pretty much all the same. I don't know. Yeah, key similarities. No broad-based advertising. Both countries ban traditional advertising methods like TV and radio commercials that reach a general audience. Limited branding. Both Canada and California restrict the use of marketing messages on cannabis product packaging, emphasizing brand names and logos instead. Point of sale advertising, however, both allow advertising within cannabis retail stores, providing consumers with information about products at the point of purchase. Digital advertising restrictions. Both jurisdictions have rules in place to regulate online advertising, including age verification and prohibitions against targeting minors. Important note, these are general outlines. The regulations are complex and can be interpreted differently in practice. It's crucial to consult with legal professionals specializing in cannabis law for the most up-to-date and accurate guidance on advertising regulations in Canada and California. So that's how Canada and California attempt to keep people safe and reduce addiction and not get cannabis into the hands of the youth by using all these kind of restrictions on advertising to make the whole thing better for society. Otherwise you could get loads of people being, if they like, imagine if they allowed for broad-based advertising on TV and radio. Get your weed here, come get high with us, buy our amazingly euphoric weed product. And then kids are watching this at like, I don't know, 5 p.m. in the evening going, yeah, I'm going to go get stoned. I'm a 5-year-old. So that's why they have these rules. And I think that when they legalize it, because it's more likely to be when, it's just a matter of time. How long that will be, we don't know. But I feel like it's going to be just a matter of time before we do legalize it in the UK. And I presume they would have some strict advertising rules in place because the UK thinks that cannabis is harmful. So they would try to restrict the advertising of it. There you go. That's your video for the day. Advertising in California and Canada. I've been Shiva Wilson and we've been trying to legalize recreational cannabis in the UK. Good night.